Is this working? Let's see if we are ready to start working. I'm sure we are. The sound will turn on. There's the sound. We're good to go. Good morning, friends. Thanks for dropping by. It is 5:05 a.m. and we're about to get started with this morning's workout. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, an adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours in a night. Do so by minding what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance, which is around 2,200 calories. I try to eat whole foods. I try to eat enough protein to support my strength and muscle building goals. And I work out every day. I do strength training, kettlebell Monday, Wednesday, Friday, mobility, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I go for a run on Sundays, and I do a lot of other things. I try to have an active lifestyle throughout the day and throughout the week, so that I am moving for between 1 and 2 hours a day, regardless of what kind of training I do, because I think there's power in movement. This is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I would like to feel fit, capable, and competent for a living. And that's why we show up every day for 30 minutes. So, hey, if you're interested in what I'm doing in my journey, 41 going into 50, want to be fit at 50, and then you go ahead and hit like, subscribe, let me know what's going on. We can continue this conversation. This morning we're going to do a kettlebell strength and conditioning workout, full body. And I'm just going to hit the timer and we're going to get started while we talk about health and fitness while we train. All right? So, if you're wondering why I think this is important, let's reflect a little bit on what's going on with my health and fitness, but also health and fitness in general, where you can see that we are, first of all, getting older, which I'd say is a good thing. But besides us getting older, we're not necessarily staying healthy. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. I hope you're doing well where you're at in the world. We're not necessarily staying healthy. Specifically, that final decade of our life tends to be riddled with discomfort and disease that, if we're completely honest, quite a bit of it could be prevented and avoided. All right, we're going to start off relatively easy. 10 times 12 kettlebell swings. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just So we're getting older, but we're not getting any real benefit from the extra years. And I think that's a shame. I think that's a shame for a number of reasons. But I think that's specifically a shame because if we were to hit 60, 70, 80 in relatively good shape, fit, capable, competent, we could get more out of life if we were less dependent on things like medication or limited in any way. Yo, B-Shooter374, thanks for coming by, saying hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope life's treating you well. I hope you're going to have a good day where you're at in the world. Second set of swings down. Third set coming up. So, if we're going to try to make more of the years that we're given, how can we do that? How can we do that? Well, we can very simply catch ourselves, and we can very simply think about the lifestyle choices that we're making today and try to understand how those lifestyle choices are going to affect our long-term health. Here's what I mean by that. It's that we as people do things in the 24 hours that we're awake that affect our health and fitness not only today, but also in the long run. So if we want to be self-sufficient, discomfort-free, maintain our range of motion, our ability, and there are certain things that we need to start being mindful of 2-3 decades before in terms of how our health and fitness is going to develop over a lifetime. For example, That's the 6th set, going into the 7th set. So for example, are we incorporating strength training into our week? If the answer is yes, that's good. If the answer is no, strength or resistance training, I should say, so lifting heavy things or working against resistance. If the answer is no, but we want to live to be old and capable, then we need to address that, because a part of being old and capable also means that we would want to be able to lift loads, move under load, and work with specific load to make sure that we maintain bone mineral density, muscle strength, muscle volume, right? To actually do all those things. Ooh, 8th set, 2 more to go. So we want to just figure out ways to do all those things. Benjamin Hollingworth, good morning. Thanks for dropping by, saying hi. Hope you're doing well. There is a stream with better sound on my channel, by the way, just in case you're interested in hopping over there. And thanks all for hitting like and for saying hi. And if you haven't yet, check out my channel and subscribe. All right, 9th set. Let's go. And the last set. Pretty sure this is getting my heart rate up somewhat. Okay, there we go. Now, let's move from the swing into swing clean, squat, thrust, 3 times left, 3 times right in the minute. Okay? So that is a clean squat up, clean squat up, clean squat up, switch hands. is 6. Let's see, we're doing 6 every 30 seconds. Okay. We're going to alternate that with rows. We're going to do 5 of each. Okay, and back to the thrusters. And this is all relatively straightforward. It's all designed to give us both a strength and a conditioning workout. So we're moving a load, but we're also doing it timed. Change hands. 1, 2, 4, and back to rows. Second set's going to be done. All right, and as you can see by that exercise, it's also a good indication that my back and my foot are still working. Okay, so back to this idea of health and fitness in the long run, right? There are different lifestyle choices that we can make. And we should be aware of them, and we should consciously think about our sleep, our nutrition, our movement and activity, our friendships and communities. And things that we're doing to master certain skills, hobbies, because that's going to make a big difference in our so what are those lifestyle changes that we can look at with the idea that we are going to try to make it to 80 or 90 or maybe even 100 in relatively good health. Now, appreciating the fact that we are dealing with serious deterioration as we age, and that we need to be more mindful in terms of facing our recovery. And I think we can do a better job at being somewhat truthful to ourselves in terms of how well we're actually doing in that department. We're going for the last set of 2 minutes. And you can see for strength and conditioning, this is already quite good at raising our heart rate and giving all of our muscles a good workout, despite me working with only 8 and 12 kilos. All right. And done. Final set of rows. So we don't have to do anything crazy. We don't have to do anything heavy. What we need to do is just show up and do some work. Because more than anything, it's the consistency over time. That is going to get us in better fitness. I'm really starting to feel that last one. All right. Face pulls. 5 times on the left. Okay. You do. Squat left, squat right, halo, and then start over again. Whew. It's hard to tell whether I'm sweating because it's warm outside or whether we're sweating because we're doing a good workout. And I appreciate the support coming out of the stream. Thanks a lot. Good stuff. All right, people. Okay. Kettlebell halos. 8 kilo. Nothing special. We're gonna do halo chops. Okay. We're gonna add that twist to it. Oh, the jump. And we're back to the pulls. And we're gonna hit this at 30 minutes. A good workout. Nice, easy, 30 minutes. Nothing crazy. Safety first. Not looking in that direction. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because here's one of the big mistakes I think people make when they think about training and getting in shape for longevity. And I also understand why this happens, because it's a bit tedious to just show up every day and do the work. However, if you start going down the track of competing, of reaching certain goals, of trying to force yourself to look a certain way, to run a certain distance, those are all valid and good goals in and of themselves. But then that record or that accomplishment becomes the goal and not anymore the act of showing up and investing in being fit at 80 or 90. And there are a lot of things we can do to reach certain goals that run entirely counter to the philosophy, wisdom, and science it's going to take to reach specific health outcomes in the long run. Not saying one is better than the other, but it is hard to ingrain a sense of daily routine into our lives, and accepting that some days we're going to be feeling it and other days absolutely not. But regardless of how we feel, we're going to show up. And with that, we're done. Let's take a minute, sit down. Let's take a deep breath. Relax and enjoy the fact that we hit 30 minutes of a good workout early in the morning, end of the day. And just appreciate the moment for a bit. And let's consider what we're working on in terms of our long-term health, fitness. Why am I using kettlebells? It's because I work out from home. Kettlebells offer me the most versatility, and they're fun. It's a skill to learn. If you do it smartly, you probably have benefits from it for your entire life. So that's what I'm doing here. And as you've seen for the last months, no weights, 4 kilos, 8 kilos, 12 kilos, slowly working my way back up to 16 and 20. We're not in a rush. We've got a whole lifetime ahead of us for workouts. I think I fell into a bit of a trap at the beginning of the year, stating that I wanted to reach 20 kilos by the end of the year. I started to work towards that, and in the process, I got injured and set me back by a year. Right? So there's no point in getting injured. There's no point in doing things that are going to impede our routine and our training. It's better to do light more frequently throughout the week than heavy and then blow out a joint or a muscle and not be able to do anything for 3 to 6 months, because then we have to start all over again. Remember, friends, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today. It's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. So a bit of kindness is going to go a long way. There are enough people out there who want to put us down, so we'll lift ourselves up, all right, and each other in this community. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'll see you on the next stream. I'm putting that mobility and strength to work, 5:41 a.m. Thanks for rolling by, Benjamin P. Shooter. I appreciate that. Hope you're well. Be well. Take care. And see you around. And don't forget to subscribe. As for anyone on this stream as well, subscribe. Thanks for dropping by.